It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done one of these. So we're gonna talk about Robert Johnson's "Kind-Hearted Woman." It's a tricky tune. But first, I gotta show you this. Maybe you've seen these before. These are old hobo signs. Robert Johnson was known for hoboing, but check this out. This one, you zoom in on that, kind-hearted lady, otherwise known as kind-hearted woman. So, you gotta wonder what inspires certain songs, and I've always associated this song with this cute kitty. I'm probably alone in that. A lot of people play Kind-Hearted Woman. It seems easy, seems like a simple 12-bar blues, but something I've noticed is that nobody really plays it right.
I got a kind-hearted woman, do anything this world.
With good reason. I mean, look at this. There's measures of 2. We got measures of 3. So why I want to show you this phrase by phrase is that's the closest we can get to spending time with Robert Johnson, like in the room, essentially, because that's what this is. This recording is just a capture of a moment in time with Robert Johnson. And so if you learn these things phrase by phrase, it's the closest you can get to sharing air with this guy. Plus, if you zoom in on one of these things where he adds a beat and drops a beat, there might be a really cool little phrase, and actually there is, in that added beat or drop beat. And that's a phrase you could use. By just glossing over it, you miss a lot of stuff. So that's the goal for this. It's not to replicate this later. I mean, you could, good luck. Good luck. But there's a lot we can learn from this. I did you a very big favor. I made an even version as well. This could be a 12-bar blues if you wanted it to be. And so this one is the accurate version, the authentic version. I don't know. This is what he did at that moment in time. This one is what you could do at any time. At the end of this, I will play the even version so you can kind of play along with that. One more thing to note about this tune, he plays it with a capo. So it's really in B. Just keep that in mind. When you play this with the music, you're going to have to throw a capo on. The video at the end, that play along at the end, that's going to be open. So you won't have to worry about the capo for that one. With all that out of the way, let's check out this recording. This is a classic Robert Johnson intro. You're taking that, your familiar D7 chord, and you're shifting it all the way up here. All right, so you've got that chord, and you're shifting it down, half step, a half step. So that's the first couple moves in this phrase. Listen to that one more time. And so I've written this in 2/4 as opposed to 4/4. I feel like I feel it in groups of 2. You've got these kind of what I'm calling split triplets. I don't know what they're really called, but I call them split triplets. So instead of triplet, you've got triplet. If there's something else those are supposed to be called, someone can chime in, but I call them split triplets. So we've got this rhythm right away where it's like triplet. So on our guitars, that's D shape on the 9th fret, and that's like a pinch, pluck, pinch, shift, pluck, pinch to 2. You see how we're calling that the 2nd fret even though it's really the 4th? It's because this is essentially our nut. That makes sense as the 2nd fret. This is a little bit abstract to call it the 9th fret because 12 is right there looking at you in the face. So you know it's 11, but just call it 9. It's 9 away from your capo. And then we've got your long A shape. That's what I call a long A shape. So it's like... Open up that E string, and you play an E chord. His thumb just basically does that dun, dun, dun. I don't always write that in. It's kind of implied. There's only so much you want to write in. There's a lot going on. So that's the intro. Do your best. You could spend a while on this intro. We're gonna move on because there's a lot to get through here. So.
Kind-hearted woman, anything that's worth for me.
We're making use of this Robert Johnson A7 chord. That same shape gets you 2 chords. You just shift it down 1/2 step. I don't know what that chord's called. It probably has a very cool name, but it's just that A7 shape shifted down 1/2 step. But you keep that A chord, the A bass, the same. And he does something really brilliant, like a very subtle little note passage to move between each of those chords. So again, they're 1/2 step apart. So before we actually move to this new chord, he implies it by this out of tune, out of key note. Not out of tune. It's perfectly in tune. It's just out of key. He does a really similar thing to get us back to this chord. So when we're here, he goes back to this note, bringing us back to the A7 chord where we came from. And then you've got this iconic kind-hearted woman lick. So that's the lick, and this is where it starts getting weird. This is where he drops a beat. So listen to this. Before he moves to the 4 chord.
I gotta come.
See how there's only 3 beats there. So you've got.
I gotta kind-hearted woman.
Was that a mistake? This just doesn't matter. It's just what he did. And so this is where he moves to the 4 chord, and this is a 4 chord shape that he uses. I'm pretty dang sure this is what he's using. So give this 4 chord a listen here.
I got a kind-hearted woman.
That was sick. Listen to this.
I got a kind-hearted woman. Anything.
That's so cool. So you've got this. Just like a thumb stumble. It's kind of like a Blind Blake thing. It's very piano sounding. That's a really subtle, really cool thing. You know, the stuff that's in between the cracks, that's where I feel like all his personality is. The chords are easy, you know, but what do you do with the chords? I guess you could do that. Now this part's weird. We're going to go back to the 1 chord, and it's very strange. Pretty much a measure of 3 and then a measure of 2. I never noticed that. I always noticed that the song had a very interesting feel. Didn't realize he was dropping beats all the time. We just hop right into that 5 chord. You expect another beat, but he just drops right into that 5 chord. I guess it's 5. The 5 beats on the 5 chord. All right, that's crazy. And then we move to our 4 chord. That's straight up. And then we've got this. That should sound familiar to you. So it's almost identical. It's almost identical to the first turnaround.
I love my baby. My baby don't love me.
And it's just that thumb never quits. That leads us straight up into our 4 chord. And this time, instead of dropping a beat to get to our 4 chord, he drops a beat inside of our 4 chord. So we've got this.
My baby. My baby don't love me.
And there's that lick again. did the same thing he did before. Measure of 3, measure of 2. Nobody plays it like that. Nobody plays a measure of 3, measure of 2. So that's how he played it, though, twice in a row here. There's less grouping of 4 in here than there is of 4. So just think about that.
I really love that woman. Can't stand to leave her be.
So we pop over to the 5 chord, going to the 4 chord, the same as before. Two measures there, 2 measures of 2, and we have the turnaround, which is the same as before. You know, a little bit different where he just a slight variation, but one that definitely gives this thing some life. So as promised, I will give you the even version here. Thanks everybody for coming to this rapid fire workshop on Kind-Hearted Woman. Go find a kitty. Go find a kitty, the kind-hearted kitten, the pet now.